Welcome back to the shipyard. Today, another top list. The top 11 admirals. And I went to 11 because, one, it's fun to always go to 11.
Please go to 11.
But 2, I feel like these are the only admirals worth playing for their game effects. No, game effects. Admirals like Hiren, Jaro Essa, ones that cost 1 point, give you a talent slot, and give you a little skill boost. That's great. But those exist for a totally different reason. These are my admirals that are here because I want them for what they do. And their boosts, their slots, that's just icing on the cake. So, number 11. Mirror Riker. For a fleet action, he gives you a scan and then another action off of your action bar. And not necessarily another action, because if your ship doesn't have scan, you get a scan action for free. Now, it's just a little tiny improvement on action economy, but for certain ships, it can make enough of a difference. Is he fantastic? No. That's why he's my number 11, but there's a place for him, there's a time, and I think that he can work well. The problem with him, he doesn't actually perform a scan action, he's placing a scan token, so he doesn't work for Cloaked Minds, and that's a bit of a bummer, just something to be aware of. But Riker, a good captain, definitely worth considering running, especially if you need that scan token for your things that use scan, like Enterprise A, Mr. Spock, etc. Number 10. Hayes. Hayes is one that doesn't get a lot of love. And I'm not entirely sure why. For a fleet action, all friendly ships within range 1 of your ship gain +1 attack die. You get +2 against Borg ships. Maybe I'm a bit biased. Maybe this is because I used to see Borg a ton. But a fleet action to give +1 die to a bunch of ships other than the ship that performs the action is pretty darn good. I've always said an action for 1 attack die isn't worth it. But for 2, 3, 4 dice, depending on how many ships you're running, it's pretty good. And if they have a Borg ship in their fleet, assimilated ships, or pure Borg, this is going to make even more of a difference. Is Hayes the be-all, end-all? No. But I think he's good. I think he has that place, and he does work. So, another admiral worth running at times. Alright, number 9. Q. Q's a little tricky. He's, very consuming of aux power. For an action, you rotate your ship 180 degrees. Cool effect. However, you place a number of aux power tokens beside your ship equal to the speed of the maneuver you revealed this round. If you do a 1, it's not bad. You do a 3, you're going to be hurting. The most I'd ever do this with is a 2. But what this does is an on-demand come about. And more so, you can come about after doing a bank, come about after a turn, and he's reactive. You get to see where your opponents are. The downside to Q, of course, is his -1 captain skill. That can hurt a lot of ships. But Q has a very unique effect. I like being able to flip around whenever I want, and that's worth something to me. I think that's very valuable, and why Q comes in at number 9. For number 8, we're going to Mendak, Romulan Admiral, and he lets us target a friendly ship at range 1 to 2, including our own ship, that doesn't have a battle station token beside it, and then you place a battle station token there. Great effect. Absolutely brilliant effect. This is how you put battle stations on ships that don't have battle stations. Of course, the downside to Mendak, you can only go on a Romulan ship. But the upside to Mendak is that he gives you +2 captain skill, something that Romulan captains desperately need. And he also gives you a talent slot, which may not be all that valuable, but it's something that can make a difference. More so, Mendak's here for battle stations, and that's super valuable. Number 7, Borg Queen. This is another admiral that gives us +2 skill, something super valuable. And then for an action, we get to target a friendly ship at range 1 to 2, pick an upgrade on that ship, and do that upgrade's action as a free action. Then, if it requires spending drone tokens, you spend 1 less drone token than required, which speeds up all these drone token effects. Now, there's a lot of actions that the Borg have that require 1 drone token. Well, now, with this admiral, they take none. And that means you get to do these actions even more. She's really expensive. She's 5 points. But for 2 more skill, which doesn't mean you get 2 more drone tokens, it just means you take your drone token count and add 2 if you have Borg drones, or the normal +2 captain skill. She has a pretty cool effect. It's limited. You gotta have the right kinds of upgrades. But she's reminiscent of Martok 8. She just sacrifices 1 ship's action for another. And sometimes that trade is worthwhile. You have to be the judge of that. So, I like Borg Queen. Number 6, Gul Madred. Now, you can probably go, David, why is Madred down at number 6? He's super good. He is. But I like him better as a captain, because that's where you can use him multiple times. As an admiral, he's a one-shot. He's really good one-shot, but he's a one-shot card. Plus, as an admiral, Madred is limited to skill 6 or less for the auto kill, and there's no way to enhance that. He does give your captain +2, which is great, but he is going to be that one-shot effect, and that's a hard sell for me. That's something I have a hard time wrapping my head around, and so that's why I can't put him any higher than number 6. He's definitely a great card. I love the effect. I love the way it just changes the game, flips the game on its head, but like 5 cards better. So that brings us to number 5, Liviana Charvanek. For an action, she lets you do a free cloak if you have it on your action bar, and then you get to do another action from your action bar. This is fantastic. This lets Romulan ships cloak and sensor echo. She can even be used for Klingon ships to cloak and sensor echo, or cloak and evade. Hey, that's pretty good options. Or, hey, cloak target lock. She's a great admiral. She enables the 2 scary cloak factions to do what they want to do. Now, for good effect, she needs to be put on a Romulan ship. But that's not hard to do. Romulans have those cheap ships. She's 3 points, but she's 3 points well spent to do something really cool. And if bank echoes ever become a thing, meaning you can use the 1 bank or the 2 bank, she will shoot up this list ahead of number 5, which is scary because there's some really good admirals here. Number 4 is Mirror Admiral Worf. I have to preface this by saying the top 4 could all be number 1. They are all that good. But Worf just hit at number 4 because that's what I'm feeling right now. Action attack, fantastic ability. Brilliant ability. No tokens to be used, so no target lock, no battle station. You can still benefit from effects, but you can't benefit from the use of tokens. Still, being able to pump dice, it's huge. It can be a huge ability. If you pull this off before somebody moves, they're in a rough spot. You can kill people before they get their actions. Worf does so many things well. I love what he brings to the game. He's another just big game changer admiral. And that's what it takes to be at the head of this list. You have to change the game with your effect, and Worf does that. Number 3, Gowron. Gowron did more to change a single faction than any other card has. I truly believe that. Klingons were basically out of competitive play. Gowron came along and said, hey, Klingons, you're playable again. Because the ability to get battle stations essentially is a free action on any Klingon ship you want, as long as you run a Klingon captain, but that's not hard. And then get another action, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. The one things Klingons were missing was the ability to get better quality. They had target lock, but I'm talking target lock battle stations. And now that they have that, they can almost guarantee that all of their dice will hit. I think it's something like 94%. And that's even scarier than they were. Klingons are high attack, and Gowron makes them better. Okay, so if you played Star Trek Attack Wing for a while, you know that there's only 2 admirals left. And you know that they're both Federation. There's other admirals, but big game changer admirals. And it pains me so much to put Decker at number 2. I struggled with this, but Decker's effect, being able to do hull damage, give him an extra attack die, it's a wonderful effect. But that loss of a captain skill, that was the one con against him that brought him down to number 2. I love the effect. Again, you can kill a ship in the activation phase, and they can't do anything about it. He's a way to get past ships that are basically unkillable. And Decker might be a card that wins Worlds, or wins Nationals. Who knows? But I have to leave the number 1 spot for Admiral Forrest. And that's because bonus movement is still a fantastic thing in this game. If they can't hit you, then you don't die, and your stuff gets to keep doing its cool things even longer. So, sometimes the best effect is the effect to not be hit. And that's the ultimate winner in this list. Plus, Admiral Forrest gives 1 turns to ships that can't do a 1 turn. Sometimes ships that can't turn at all. I'm looking at the Dominion battleship. Forrest is one of the very few admirals that I will actually play cross-faction and pay those 3 extra points instead of just the 1 extra point. And that's something I don't say about hardly any other admiral. That's one of the big deciders for why he hit number 1. So, you may disagree with some of my ordering choices. That's fine. But I don't think you can disagree with who's on the list. I know for a fact that I didn't miss any admirals, because no other admiral is seriously worth playing. Maybe in a very niche scenario, but not in an overall competitive build. If you're trying to build competitively and be ready for just about anything, it's one of these 11 admirals. That's it. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this list. I've maybe shot myself in the foot in terms of discussion, but let the discussion be about the order. If you disagree with my order of top 5 of Gul Madred being too low, let me know. If you think I've personally insulted Q and therefore my dice will hate me forever, well, let me know that too. So, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. And until next time, we'll see you around the shipyard. Take care.